for far too long, Africans abroad have been advised to, come back home and improve their countries. Now we see more and more African Americans, who are choosing to move to Africa, especially to countries like Kenya, Nigeria, and Ghana. For many, it's about reconnecting with their roots and finding a sense of peace that they never quite felt back in the U.S. They talk about feeling freer, more accepted, and less burdened by the racial tensions that often shape life in America or even abroad. Finally feeling at home is what they say. Now, what started as a trickle has actually grown into a real movement, with Ghana welcoming hundreds with citizenship offers and people starting businesses, building communities in their parts of the continent, that's in other parts of the continent. I mean, even popular musician Ciara, recently announced her Beninese citizenship. Who wouldn't want that? Now, let's move over to our guests. I'm joined by Anu and Pablo, social media creators who left the United States and are now based in Ondo, Nigeria. Thank you so much, power couple, for joining us at this time.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, it's a pleasure. Now let's begin with you, Anu. Anu, you left Nigeria when you were like 15 years, and according to you, it's been over 20 years, right? What made you feel like coming back home, and what was, just speak to us about it, and how did you, how were you able to transition, especially coming back with your family?
Yes, it has been a lot of culture shock, or what do you call that? Reverse culture shock. It hasn't been easy. So leaving at the age of 15, I speak the language. I mean, I didn't lose the language and all of that, but coming back and now bringing my family of 7 back to Nigeria, it's definitely like a new, what do you call it?
Almost like a new experience again.
It's a new experience again, exactly. Yeah.
But it wasn't a straight shot, Nigeria.
Right.
No matter how many times I said, let's go to Nigeria, let's go to Nigeria, you didn't agree until I said, okay, what about Uganda?
Yes.
Why was that?
And I chose another African country over Nigeria because of all of the fear mongering that we've encountered, everything online and saying, don't go to Nigeria, they're going to kidnap you, it's bad. Even my own parents, they were like, Nigeria, why? Don't even go to Africa, stay in the US. So we decided to go to Uganda, East Africa instead. Yeah.
So now that you're in Nigeria,
years actually.
Yes, now that you're in Nigeria, how has it been for you? If you can hear me, now that you're in Nigeria, how has it been for you? If you compare that to, your time in Uganda, and I really need to ask this as well, Pablo. How did you learn to speak Yoruba? Or where?
I always say, what is it? So like they're the ones that they teach me a lot. They teach me the amion, the tones and everything.
Yes, because that's what we speak to the kids in the house, both Yoruba and Spanish. We don't speak English to the kids. So it's through osmosis, so we picked it up.
Even in the US, we didn't speak English to the children. I spoke Spanish to them, and that's the second most important language in the US.
Yes.
And then Yoruba as well. So they're only just now learning a little English here and there.
Yeah.
And the eldest is 7, so.
Yeah, I think I saw a video where they were, introducing themselves, Oruko me this, Oruko me that. And it was really cute, by the way. Now, Pablo, out of all the states, why did you agree or even choose to settle in the rural part of Ondo, focus on farming and everything, not even Lagos?
Yeah.
Well, neither of us are city people.
Right.
Never enjoyed that. So even in the U.S., we lived in a more rural area. I used to teach in a university, but even so, we lived outside in the city. We just don't like cities that much. And we've always wanted to settle down and farm. And so we tried that out in Uganda, and it didn't really come through for us. And so finally I said, what if we go home? what if we go to Nigeria finally?
Right, and this is where our my parents grew up, my parents' town, and they have a house here. Everything's set up for us. So we're like, this is home. Why not go back there? So that's how.
And we're a very Nigerian family.
Right.
As you can probably see if you see us on social media, our food, our culture, our language, everything is very Nigerian oriented, and so it just made sense to just come home. And even I feel very at home. Our children are extremely at home. They've never been this happy. They've never been this healthy. They've never been this joyful as coming back here.
Well, it's obvious that the children are adapting really well. Now, but some people describe this as, a kind of brain gain for Africa. While we have so many Africans traveling abroad, leaving their countries, but others are actually worried that an influx of foreigners could drive up, rent and also living costs and the likes. Now, from your perspective, is this movement, creating more opportunity or new inequalities?
In my perspective, I would say it's creating more of opportunity for people who have been living in the diaspora to come back and invest in these African countries, in Nigeria, and for them to experience what it's like to eat food from the earth, to be closer to nature, and just a different type of life, I suppose. So it's an opportunity. I don't think it's impacts the economy negatively. I think it would, in the long run, it would help the entire country as a whole. It will help to strengthen the economy, the people's relation with each other, and also people coming back to their roots and knowing that this is where I came from. There's no home is home, things like that. Yeah.
And I would say also that I know the concern about gentrification, if there's like a lot of people, for example, a lot of foreigners moving to a specific part of Lagos, and if they're bringing a lot of money with them, it could very well raise, the prices of that area. But if we're talking about diasporans in general who are coming home, I think most of them, for the most part, they leave for better opportunities and in particular better education. And so what we see from Nigeria, not just Nigeria, other countries as well, there's a huge brain drain. So bringing that knowledge, that learning back, I think is a no-brainer. And all countries do that. Even the US, they have study abroad in order to teach their students about other countries, give them a chance to experience another country, learn skills there, learn knowledge there that they couldn't learn at home, and then come back. They always come back. I think only Nigerians and some others don't come back.
Refuse to come back.
So it makes sense that they come back and reverse that brain drain.
Right, and also to go back to those towns, those small towns that are almost becoming isolated, obsolete, desolated. Because even in this small town, it's a town of about 40,000 population. There are a lot of dead people. There are a lot of empty houses. For them to not just stay in Lagos, go to those small little villages and make a difference, and experience a very simple yet profound way of life.
This is something
and make a
that
profound difference.
Yeah, this is something that has been said for a really, really long time. Africans, come back and develop your countries. Come back and bring whatever you've learned, whatever opportunities that you've actually had, bring it to your countries and develop the continent in itself. You talked about cultural shock earlier. Beyond emotional and the cultural pull, I think we've actually clearly established that there's an economic story here too, especially when returnees come in with serious business plans and also investments. So, but looking at our governments, our leaders, how well do you think that our African governments are prepared to harness that potential?
You can start. Yeah.
So what I would say is leaders are leaders everywhere, and politicians are politicians everywhere. And when your leaders are politicians, they're going to be politicians. You're going to have a politician. And so when it comes to any country, but Nigeria is a great example, is when I hear people complaining about their leaders, I say, but their leaders came from you. They were from you. They were raised by their mothers who are from here. They are part of you. So they don't just become corrupt overnight or something like that. It's not like there's a special breed. They are you. And so it's all about raising the next generation to not steal, but to be honest and things like that. If there's anything you see in politics that you don't like, then teach your children the way you think they should be,
Right.
Because they're the next leaders.
Exactly. The young children are the next generation. So teaching them to change their mindset about what's important, what's most valuable in life. It's not those chasing. We gotta chase that money. You're not gonna take that money to the grave. The most important, what we have as wealth is our health. When we feel our best, that's when we can do our best. Just the importance of agriculture, for example, going back to the land and working with our two hands, and those things that instill what do you call it?
No, that's a great example, because if you think about, for example, with Nigeria, people complain about, there's high prices of food and all this stuff, and it has to do with a lack of interest in the agricultural sector by the government. Now, why would that be? Well, when you're teaching your children not to be farmers, when you're teaching your children that farming is for poor people, farming is for lower class, I don't want my child to be even seen in a farm. And then you have places like the US where they say, let's bring our children to the farms. Let's bring our children, schools going to farms, practicing planting, all this stuff, getting them at least some sort of connected with agriculture, so that there is that idea that, hey, this is not something we should look down on. This is something important. And now, when you've taught your children to look down on it, they grow up to be politicians, and they look down on it, and they have a lot of, they just look over a lot of agriculture, and then what do? You get high prices of your food.
Right.
So it all starts at home. It all starts raising your children from a young age.
So, we got to change the mindset of the next generation.
So because many of the people relocating, have cited mental freedom. So is this part of it? Are you experiencing a shift in your mental health since moving to Nigeria?
Yes, definitely. Also, being in this small town, closer to Mother Nature, surrounded by hills and forests and just, this ecosystem, it does something to one's mind. It brings you back to what's most important, and it brings bliss. It brings joy, So
it definitely brings peace of mind, being more connected to what this nation is built on, from the soil up, and seeing firsthand what the resources are, in the people, in the natural resources all around you, and just appreciating it. I think it's very important. I think it's something that all Nigerians and all children in Nigeria should be able to experience.
Right, to be able to cherish what we have. Like, what we have here in Nigeria is good. Like, to not look out elsewhere for a greener pasture. I mean, growing up in Nigeria, I wish I had learned that from school or from, just growing up, that what we have here is good. And then when I went to the US, I realized that I'm missing the mango season, for example, the agbalumo season, all of this fruit season, and also the abundance of sunshine and all of these things that bring healing to the body. I was missing it. And I'm like, I think Africa is calling me. Mama, Nigeria is calling me. I come back home.
And Nigeria is one of the wealthiest countries in the world. I mean, when you look around, because if you think about all the colonization that happened, why did people come all the way from England and the UK? Why did they come all the way here, just to set up shop? It's because you have so many wonderful things here, you know? They wouldn't have come
Yeah.
all that way if
So,
there was nothing here.
There's one thing I was joking about. You call this place with the sunshine, you call it tropical paradise. You hear the word paradise. But then if you go to, like, you know, where there's snow in some of these European countries, you're hearing winter wonderland. And I'm saying, what are you wondering? You wonder, why the heck am I stuck here? That's what you wonder about. It's not paradise.
You
know?
wonder why you're in this land.
All right,
It's
now,
so cool.
well, just before we let you go, would you advise, you know, other African Americans or even foreigners to consider moving back to Africa?
We've learned a lot over the few years that we've, you know, moved back to Africa, first in Uganda and now here. I suppose it's to connect with people. I mean, so, you know, we're on YouTube, we connect with people who are on ground, and also, of course, we have family members here, but when we went to Uganda, we connected with people on ground who've been there, who can guide us, sort of, you know, because it's not easy, especially if you've been gone for so long, trying to find your feet, trying to find your roots again, but just having surrounded by people that, you know, that at least maybe they've been there, you know, and also that you can trust.
Yeah.
That goes a long way. And also there will be a lot of mindset change in your mentality as you go along. It will come naturally, to not fight it, to just embrace it, because it's a little bit, a bit different. It's a bit different ball game, you know.
All right.
And African Americans coming here are, I would say, be flexible, extremely flexible. Whatever plans you have, make sure they're general, and make sure you're not in a hurry. Give yourself time to live, give yourself time to experience, and through osmosis over time, you will start picking up the culture, you'll start understanding how things work, and be flexible with how things work, because things work here. But if you don't sit and watch and learn, it may seem like they don't. Everything works.
Yeah.
You just have to learn. You just allow yourself to learn, and it may take, you know, some time, but give yourself that time, and don't be in a hurry to set up shop. Don't be in a hurry to do things like that. Just live and learn, watch, observe, and find those people who can help you as guides.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. If the kids were close by, I would have, you know, loved for them to just say hi to the camera and hi to everyone watching at the moment. But thank you so much, Anu and Pablo, you know, for joining us and for sharing your experience.
Thank you for having us.
Moving back. Thank you so much.